So number 6 is commit 100%. I'm always worried about this 100%. What does commitment give us?
What does commitment gives us? It gives us. I'll answer your question directly. What it gives us, it gives us a finish point. It gives us okay. It gives us, in business we call it a milestone, or we call it a KPI, key performance indicator. It gives us a mark. Okay, I'm committed to this. Blah blah blah. You have to break it down a little bit more, and so on and so forth. But it's not that straightforward as well. Yeah. So in this principle, this concept is twofold, or multifold actually. I came to realize that if I don't commit to something, I'm not setting myself up well. And so I need to understand what that commitment is. What defines that commitment? What are the variables in that commitment? What are my key performance indicators? What are the indicators that are going to tell me that I am moving towards and I am committed to something? I also, when I work with anybody and I want them to explore commitment, I want them to understand why it's important to them, why they've set that up for themselves. And within that principle as well, I'm very strong and very clear to point out that what you are committed to today as the human being that you are, in this state, in this mind, will not be the same tomorrow. Never mind in 6 months or a year.
Because that's like a limiting aspect of commitment to many people, right? They think I'm going to commit to this person, and that means I'm going to be with this person all my life, and otherwise I'm not going to commit.
And that's the way we're programmed. That is.
You're talking about a commitment that is.
No, it can be that as well.
It can be, but yes. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah, and I'm going to explain a little bit more, because that's part of the conditioning. And that conditioning, that belief system where that conditioning comes under, like where you're with somebody, so you have to stay with them for the rest of your life, is based on a needs or a victim belief system. It's based on fear and I need some kind of security because I'm not a complete individual as my own. And if I'm going to do this and blah, blah, and that's don't get me going, because that takes me back, but that also is a whole other thing. So understanding with commitment as well, it is, I am going to commit, whatever it is. But, many people, you yourself, you've had businesses, you've had relationships, you've had, and it was amazing when you started, we're going to do that. And then something changes. And what changes more than anything is you're not the same person, and they're not the same person, or they show up or they present and they give you something that's no longer acceptable. You didn't know that. You were being honest and forthright, but they weren't. And now this has come up and you don't like this, and so on and so forth. So I teach 3 things in Commit 100%. You're going to do something, commit 100%. You know what? Like my dad always told me, Jacqueline, don't half-ass stuff. Mm-hmm. What good is half an ass? Now, I was always imagining a body part. He was talking about a donkey. But I only found that out years later. So whatever you imagined, neither are useful. Yeah. So I live by that. I don't half-ass something. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, so on and so forth. Another thing that I teach within this principle is recommit. So let's look at a relationship. Let's look at an intimate relationship, a partnership. You're in a partnership. You guys have gotten together. You've decided you're going to do certain things, so on and so forth. I've been teaching this for years. It's so useful. If only I had known. No, I do it. I actually do it now with my friendships and my relationships. And like I said, my ex-husband's my best friend. And you're with your partner, blah, 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 you get together. Yeah, okay, good. This is what we're doing. This is where we see ourselves. This is who I am. This is who you are. We love it. Oh, la, la, la. Wonderful. A year passes. Sit down again. So this is what we said last year. What's changed? Tell me about what's changed for you. Mm-hmm. Why has something changed? What areas of your life are you not feeling fulfilled in? What areas do you feel like this relationship could improve? I do the same thing. We have that open conversation, because whether we want to, like when it comes to relationships, any type of relationships, I'm a firm believer that all relationships end in tragedy. I learned this from Dr. Bandler. He always says this: all relationships end in tragedy, death or breakup, every single one. Intimate partnerships. And then the third thing, so this recommitment is really important. And if you're going through troubled times, could be every month, could be 6 months, could be a year, but at the minimum, you know, for me, if I'm in a relationship once a year, we're going to sit down and have a good chat at, okay, so what do we got going on for next year? Do we got next year going on? Are we doing this another year? Is this what we're doing? And then the last one is formally uncommit. If it's done, if it's not going to work, uncommit. And that, in today's culture, in today's day and age, is the most difficult. This ghosting culture, this canceling culture, I say this with any due respect, is debilitating. It is not functional. It is an avoidance strategy. Yes, it's definitely easier. There's times when I block, for sure. You got toxic, abusive people. You know, let's not generalize what I'm saying or complicate what I'm saying. There is circumstances which that is appropriate. But it's become so, I don't want to discuss it. We're finished. We're not doing this anymore.
Or worse, right? Or you're in a relationship and you stop being faithful to that person because you're not formally uncommitting. Yeah.
Yes, but again, a lot of relationships, and there's a really great speaker and teacher on this. Her name is Esther Patel. She's amazing on relationships, and her whole shtick, her whole focus is betrayal. And she talks about how unrealistic the expectation of fidelity is. Yeah. Now, she doesn't say betrayal is good, but and she talks about this. And this is part of it. Because if you can go into a relationship and say, look, we're doing exclusive, just me and you, baby. Yeah, me and you, baby. Because that's what I feel I need. And you say, yeah, that's what I feel I need. Really good. Now, when we get to a part in our relationship where maybe you're feeling that that's not going to work for you, I would like to make a commitment to each other that if that's to happen, before we take action, we have that conversation. And that we can trust that we're not going to be met with fear, insecurity, and so on and so forth. And if we are met like that, then we understand that now we are no longer feeling safe. So we want to keep this safe space for us, understanding that we are individuals, we're going to be growing. And the crazy part about betrayal in the example that you gave is that the evidence shows us that a lot of times it really has nothing to do with the partner. Yeah. Or what the partner's doing or not doing. It's about something that individual is going through. So formally uncommitting takes a lot of courage. But I'm telling you right now, I'm telling anybody, living life on your terms, knowing who you are and really coming from that place of authenticity, it's going to take courage. Because you're going to be breaking beliefs that other people that are in your life now don't want to break. They want to keep those. So commitment for me, commit 100%, it's a big deal, but it's not cut and dry. None of these are cut and dry. And they're life principles, like I told you, all on their own. You could have a whole...
I see how... in 2 words, commit 100%. You've encapsulated something that maybe at the outset seems a bit simplistic, but then when you expand on it, I get that.
It's truly what I've come to believe, or not believe. I've come to experience. Well, it is belief, but I've come through my experiences. What I've realized as a teacher, that if I sit down and I give everybody that right from the get-go, they're going to Where's
Give
my
them an
coffee?
easy in, right?
It's basically, it's just giving the bigger, broader view,
Yeah.
getting that curiosity, and then just easing them in. And again, this is not just with external, this is with internal.
Yeah.
Are you committed to this, or to your transformation, or your best life, or whatever it is you said that you want, or not? And if you're not, then don't judge yourself and go and do whatever you do. But if you are, how does that look? What does that mean?